distance here, simply Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Overgrowth for game number 1 of this best of 9 between these two incredibly talented players on the European Battle.net server, spawning in the bottom left-hand position as the yellow Zerg, representing team mYinsanity, and the winner of last week's inaugural hot seat event. It is petraeus. His opponent, spawning in the top right position as the red Protoss player, playing for Team Fnatic. This gentleman, is it going to be his year? We'll find out at the end of the evening. It is Harstem. Sounds like it sets the tone for his entire year. Guys, his entire year's esports career rests on this one best of 9. And it looks like we had a little moment of indecision there, potentially, from Harstem. We saw a probe come out, looking like it was going to plant down a gateway, and then he sent it back to mine. Potentially, this could be for a Nexus first. Oh, and the drone doesn't turn around in time to attempt to block the probe, so it looks like Harstem's going to be able to get it down. Or is he? No, he's actually moving back up, but he's just checking to make sure the drone was there indeed. And the Nexus is going to go down. Now, of course, the hatch has gone down here as well for petraeus, and we will be seeing the third hatchery go down very, very quickly indeed in response to that Nexus first. Absolutely no reason to delay that any longer, because it's going to take quite a long time for our Protoss player here, Harstem, to get any sort of aggressive early game out against his opponent. And there we go, we have the third hatchery down, and the probe sees this as well. Harstem knows exactly what's going on. Both players are willing to go into their normal macro games, and things look pretty hunky-dory, to be perfectly honest. So we'll see in a little bit of time when both players decide to choose their gases and how much they choose to take. We're going for the pool, followed by just a single gas here from petraeus so far. Not really giving too much away to the scouting probe of Harstem here, trying to be a little bit annoying towards those drones mining that final mineral patch. And in the meantime, an Overlord's decided to go pop into the base to see what's going on. And of course, there's no danger of the Stalker or Sentry being on the field at the moment. So he's not terribly worried at all of that being shot down right now. He's going to be able to spot the Cybernetics core behind the mineral line. We'll see that there are 2 gas geysers already mining. Ooh, it doesn't actually see the second one. I thought that might be what he was scouting for. But he's actually going to turn away a little bit earlier here. 4 workers of one of those gas geysers now becoming 3. No problemo for Harstem. And, well, still no choices in tech coming from both players, of course. Only at the 4.5 minute mark. We're macroing up, busy trying to get as many workers as possible onto all of these mineral patches so we can go into the mid game with a healthy, strong economy from both sides. We have 26, now 27 probes versus 22 drones, but the drone count from petraeus should be exploding in just a moment as a whole bunch of queens start injecting those hatcheries. We get to see those larvae pop out, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you're producing 10 plus drones at a time. Mothership core coming out of the natural expansion there from Harstem. A little bit delayed compared to normal, but that's because he went for that more economical opening there, and immediately going into a robotics facility. Now, Overlord from earlier, nowhere close to spotting what's going on behind the mineral line just yet, so we'll be keeping a helpful eye on that. Robo only about halfway done at the moment, and we have got a Stalker and then a Sentry coming in here. It looks like this Overlord isn't going to be venturing behind the mineral line. It might end up dying an early death. We have got this one moving in position, though, to potentially scout for any hidden buildings behind this mineral line. Won't be able to get any purchase there whatsoever, I'm afraid. This Overlord just under half health and should be able to get away with its life. If he's careful about it, he needs to micro that back. Okay, just about manages to do so. 2 more gateways now right here, and we've got Zergling speed about to complete, and about 20 lings on the way for petraeus as well, who is now up to 33 drones versus the 39 probes, so still behind in workers compared to his opponent, but with a reasonable amount of lings on the way, moving into the middle of the map. Let's keep an eye on what kind of damage, if any, these guys are going to be able to do. The Mothership core will be able to spot them. He does see that now, trying to chip away at the Sentry, forcing the force field, manages to do that. No Zergling to trap behind with it, so the Sentry is going to be safe. Photon Overcharge has been triggered as well, and actually this Overlord is going to have to get the heck out of dodge too. So just forcing the Photon Overcharge and taking map control against Harstem here is petraeus. Not too many lings dead so far, just a couple on red and orange health. And generally speaking, both sides are in a decent state of health right now. Harstem just adding a couple more gateways, almost looking like he's trying to play defensively here and transition into a third base. We'll be keeping an eye on what he chooses to do there. And in the meantime, petraeus, well, for protection against potential DTs and also Stargate play, has got Spore Crawlers inside his mineral line as well. Just playing this nice and careful, spreading his creep outwards from his bases to make sure he has the maximum amount of coverage for incoming attacks. Roach Warren is completing right now and just starting one of those evolution chambers. Harstem, though, I'm not certain he has any intention of expanding at all here, because what is giving this away are the Immortals inside the base. Well, you guys probably saw from the production tab here that these Immortals have been being pumped out for a while. So these extra gateways here, yes, they can basically hold the line and go for a third base, but look at how many units have popped out of here. We're going to be seeing an attempted Soul Train all in from Harstem on map number 1 here. We're going with 3 Immortals and a 4th one about to pop as well. A lot of Sentries and Zealots, I suspect, are going to be accompanying this attack, and there they are. He's moving out across the map now. Let's see how effective this can end up being. On the other side of the map, has petraeus caught wind of this coming? Yes, he has. He definitely has now. He sees all of the sentries marching out past the Xel'Naga Tower, and that can only mean a couple of things. He's pretty certain he's going to be facing an Immortal Sentry all in now, and he is going to want to defend this space as much as possible. We have a Spine Crawler going up. We have 3 Spine Crawlers going up here, in addition to an awful lot of Roaches now defending. So let's see who's going to end up coming out on top in this particular fight. The Protoss now moving onto the edge of creep. Harstem trying to engage now with this force. Good force fields killing off a couple of Roaches in the meantime. We've got a few Spine Crawlers just waiting to complete, a couple of seconds from being done, and these Zerglings trying their best to stop reinforcements, but Harstem does warp in a couple of Zealots to put an end to that. Zerglings notoriously disadvantaged against those lovely sword wielding Zealot units there. And trying to supply block Harstem and just doing as much counter-attacking damage as he possibly can. But this army, now with War Prism attached, is moving between the natural and the third bases, and these Spine Crawlers don't look like they have long to live. 2 of them go down straight away, as does a Queen. Not a great start to the engagement here from petraeus, but he has got units more or less on all sides. He's going to come in and try and flank right now. Force fields on both sides of the army coming in from Fnatic's Harstem, and he is trying to engage on the right-hand side, leaving the army alone. It's going to be enough. GG, ladies and gents. petraeus taps out, and the challenger this week, Fnatic's Harstem, takes game number 1 on Overgrowth.